With all the people that visit Disney parks every year, some of the guests can get pretty crazy sometimes. And today, we'll look at some of the worst incidents of Disney guests breaking the rules. Something you definitely should not do during a ride breakdown is take matters into your own hands and try leaving the ride by yourself. But there are impatient people that get fed up with the waiting and do just that. Like this lady who was on It's a Small World in Disneyland Paris when she got all of her kids out of the boat to leave the ride entirely, despite cast members warning not to do this. She got them all out one by one with their feet in the water. Some people reported that this family only waited 15 to 20 minutes before they decided to get out of the boat. Not sure if that's true, but if it is, they must have had to get somewhere quick. And this low-quality video from Disneyland Paris in 2009 shows a couple of guys running around a Disney parade playing around with some silly string cans. These guys aren't supposed to be in this parade, and after a little bit of running around, they were eventually kicked out of the park. But from the restroom? Maybe they managed to hide there for a little bit after the parade stunt they pulled, but the last shot in the video shows them being escorted out of the restroom. And this woman decided to climb into one of the graves in the Haunted Mansion line. It looks like a long line behind her, so she probably just got bored and decided to spice things up. But still, you're not allowed to do that. And the fence there is to stop guests from doing stuff like this. And this guy wanted a good angle of Cars Land, so he climbed up past the fence onto one of the Cars Land structures, which is obviously a restricted area. He seems to be trying to record with his phone or get pictures, so I guess he was just trying to get a good shot. He quickly got down after, but even though you're not allowed to do that, it's pretty impressive how dedicated he was to getting that good angle.
Look at that.
But that's not as bad as this next one, because this TikToker caught someone trying to climb onto the monorail from Disneyland's Fantasyland on January 8th, 2026. I guess Disneyland's rides weren't enough for this person? Which also just so happened to be the day the monorail lost power at Disneyland. Both incidents were not connected, just two crazy things happening at once on the same day. In July 2024, a park guest was caught swimming in the water of the Rivers of America close to Big Thunder Mountain. This was in Disney World in Florida, which is important because there have been many times where alligators were spotted in the exact water he's in. And Disney has had brain-eating amoeba in their water in the past, which resulted in the closure of their Discoveryland water park. Not sure what this person's goal was, whether it was for the thrill of it, they lost a bet, or it was out of their mental control. But the situation was dangerous.
Yep, footage captured yesterday by Jeffrey Tillett on TikTok show a man swimming behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in waters filled with gators and snakes and bacteria. Oh my.
And a very obvious restricted area that people have climbed in the past is the Cinderella Castle. It's the most famous Disney landmark and is also the most famous castle in the world. Some guests have been caught on camera climbing the castle, usually taking the steps on the side of it. This is obviously an immediate ban for them, and one of the rule breakers even posted himself doing it. They better hope Disney doesn't see that video. And this lady got out of the Cosmic Rewind vehicle ride despite a cast member saying over the loudspeaker to stay in the vehicle. A TikTok live caught this incident in 2023. The audio is kind of funny. The original live streamer says that the cast members will have to come get her. Take a listen.
Please remain seated. Please go back to your vehicle.
You gotta come get
There will be
her.
a capper with you shortly. Go back to your vehicle.
Yeah.
And similarly, this family decided to get impatient on Tiana's Bayou Adventure and got out and walked off. You can hear the cast member trying to tell them on the loudspeaker to stay in their boat, but they didn't care about that and got out anyway. Not sure where exactly you go after getting out of the boat. You eventually have to come into contact with some of the cast members and get kicked out of the park. And this entire group of people got out of a boat during the Pirates of the Caribbean breakdown. These people were very close to the exit of the ride when the ride came to a stop, so they just decided to get out of the boat. I guess they had better things to do, like getting kicked out of the park, because even if you're close to the exit, you're still not allowed to get out of the boat since it's a safety hazard.
Oh my God.
And there's been other instances where people have gotten out of the Pirates of the Caribbean during breakdowns. This one happened in the middle of the ride when this guy was seen walking in the water around the boats to get out of the ride. Guess he was pretty impatient and didn't want to miss anything during his day at Disneyland.
He's crying. Oh my God.
At least this ride had a walkway, even though you still shouldn't be doing this because this lady got out of her ride on the People Mover and just started walking. It looks like the ride was already stopped and she probably got impatient like the rest of the people in this video. The next clip in this TikTok shows her being stopped by presumably cast members telling her she has to go to the exit. But then they immediately leave her to walk alone, so that part is a little confusing. One of the most iconic rides at the Disney parks is the Hollywood Tower of Terror. It's an indoor drop tower that drops up to 130 feet. Most drop towers have restraints, but the Tower of Terror has seatbelts only, which has led to some people taking risks over the years and unbuckling their seatbelt. Probably the best video showing this is a video uploaded to YouTube in 2010, where you can see a man with his seatbelt off, and then the ride drops. He goes flying off the seat. The ride attendants caught this rider with no seatbelt, so the ride was stopped and everyone in line had to wait a little bit longer to get on because of this guy. And even though the guy in the video didn't appear to get injured, in 2024, somebody tried to do this and faced life-threatening injuries. So no, taking off your seatbelt on the Tower of Terror is not safe. Don't do it, even if it's tempting. This dad was in a sticky situation when his child decided to climb up onto the Walt Disney statue in the middle of Main Street at Disney World. That's probably every parent's worst nightmare at Disneyland when it comes to their child misbehaving. He tried to get his kid down, but he wouldn't comply. A cast member was pressuring him to get the misbehaving child down, so he ended up just walking up onto the statue through the bushes to get his child himself. I wonder what the cast member told him afterwards. Did they get a warning, or did they get kicked out of the park if something like this happens? Another thing that Disney guests try to do sometimes is to drink the water of the boat rides there. There was even a rumor going around once that the Splash Mountain water tasted like Coca-Cola, and this guy tried it out for himself. There's many chemicals in this water, and due to it handling thousands of guests every day, this water is of terrible quality for drinking. But still, people ignore this and get a little taste of Splash Mountain and Tiana's Bayou Adventure, either because they just want to see what it tastes like, or they just can't wait to get to the next water station after the ride.
It still tastes like Coca-Cola.
And this TikTok supposedly shows someone getting the Pirates of the Caribbean water into a bottle and then using it for boiling water to make food when they get home. And they show themselves eating the food they made with the Pirates of the Caribbean water. Pretty creative, but still disgusting. And even this guy decided to scoop up some Jungle Cruise water into his container, although he sure seemed to enjoy it. And one time, the FBI got involved with a park guest at Disney. This park guest wasn't doing anything wrong at Disney, but he sure had done a bunch of things wrong in the past because he was a fugitive on the run after stealing. This guy had stolen the identities of 4 people to steal $140,000 in COVID relief money. And after he went on the run, he was put on the FBI's most wanted list. And he decided to go to Disney World. And while he was at Animal Kingdom, ironically, an off-duty FBI agent was able to recognize his tattoo and get him arrested at Disney. He tried to act innocent, but luckily, he couldn't get out of it.
I don't understand. Officer, I'm with my daughter.
It's okay. It's okay.
Officer, I did nothing wrong.
It's okay. If you didn't do anything wrong.
And maybe one of the craziest examples of bad Disney guests was from a video recorded with a VHS camera posted onto YouTube in 2007 with the description, "Home videos with a twist." The people in the video are seen pretty much breaking every rule imaginable at Disney, from climbing onto the Walt Disney statue to trying to sneak into a restricted backstage area. But the middle of the video is where it really gets insane, because once these people get on It's a Small World, they're seen destroying props that belong to the ride, getting out of the boat, and even bringing props into the boat, such as the panda where they placed him in the back row of their vehicle. And despite all the destruction all of these people were doing, it seems like they just went back into the park and continued to mess around. Upon further research, this was actually from a documentary called Disneyland Locals, which showed how common destructive guests were in the park from 1995 to 1997. In this TikTok video, a lady was seen at Star Wars Land watching a show that some characters were putting on, when she decided to go up behind Chewbacca and hit him in the back. Really not sure why she thought that was a good idea. Does she not know that there's a real person behind Chewbacca? A famous controversial incident from Disneyland happened when a guest decided to continuously go up behind the White Rabbit and pull his tail. Obviously, pulling the tail on a costume causes discomfort to the cast member inside. Pulling them back and also can cause damage to the costume. The person inside the White Rabbit costume really made this known to the girl because he went over to her and cursed her out. Not something a Disney character should be doing, but people online agreed that the girl deserved it because no one should be messing with Disney characters like that. And this guy wanted to see what it was like to walk around Big Thunder Mountain after closing. He somehow was able to sneak into Disney and walk around the ride. Not sure how this guy was able to get up onto the ride without being caught, but it does show a cool view of the ride. Obviously, you should not do this. Not only is it very dangerous, you will be banned from Disney. And this guy snuck into possibly an even crazier place because he managed to get onto Discovery Island in the middle of Bay Lake in Disney World. This used to be home to a water park, but it closed in 1999 due to problems with the island. This guy wanted to explore the ruins of the island while also trying not to get caught. But I think he might have known he was eventually going to get caught because he stayed on the island for multiple days while vlogging his experience. The police ended up getting onto the island to search for him though. After a search, they eventually found him and brought him back to the mainland to put him in jail. A well-known rule at Disney parks is that you can't go to the parks dressed up in a costume if you're an adult. People might think you're hired by the park and will want to take pictures with you, and Disney doesn't want to be responsible for anything you could do that makes them look bad. Most of the time, this isn't a problem at Disney, and most people are good about following that rule. But one video online from 2020 shows a group of princesses walking around Magic Kingdom in Disney World. As you can probably guess, these aren't the actual Disney princesses employed by Disney. These are park guests who somehow managed to get into costume while inside the park, possibly changing in a restroom or a changing room while already in the park. These people weren't dressed a little bit like princesses either. They were in full-blown costumes. This video was taken during the month of October, and apparently because of the COVID stopping the Halloween parties that usually take place. Disney instead had lifted guidelines for the costumes, but still, these costumes were a little bit too much, and these people were eventually escorted out of the park. It seems like these people thought they were able to do full Disney character costumes. Disney has a lot of food options, and some people can't pick between eating and going on the ride, so some people bring their food on the ride. This guy decided to bring some cheese on Big Thunder Mountain, and he squirted all of it out of the bottle while on the ride. I guess nobody had been feeding the goat lately, so maybe they can get a snack out of it. And this guest decided to bring their popcorn onto the Tower of Terror. Pretty smart idea though. The popcorn went flying into the air when they dropped. That actually looked pretty cool. And that's it for today's video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as it helps our channel out very much. See you in the next one.